Welcome to the Pink and Ginge podcast. We're just two people sharing stories about what it's like to work in business, marketing, and technology. We've been in the business a long time and have learned our fair share of lessons. I'm Charlotte, CEO of a B2B marketing agency, and I'm with Claire, a senior exec at a large tech company. Everything we say here is our own opinion and not reflective of our companies.
Welcome to the latest episode in the Pink and Ginge podcast. I'm Claire, and today Charlotte's in the hot seat, and I'm going to be talking to her and asking her lots of questions about her involvement in TRIC. Hi, Charlotte.
Hello. Yes, it's sort of quite interesting to be in the hot seat on this episode. So I'm involved with TRIC, which is the Television Radio Industries Club. I'm really happy to be here talking about it because they do some really good work, and it was lovely to be able to share the stories.
I'm fascinated by it, and I'm going to do my best Paxman, obviously,
You're
interview
gonna grill
style.
me.
So
You can be
yeah,
more
I'm
like
going to grill
Oprah
you.
rather than Paxman.
Yeah, actually, that's probably better, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it'll be a bit nicer. Yeah. Don't
You
make
get a
me cry
prize.
though.
You get a prize.
Yeah.
Well, no, I can't sit next to you and pinch you,
No.
so I think you'd be safe. I just wondered, so you talked about, you just said the TRIC's the TV Radio Industries Club, but
Yep.
what is that at a fundamental level?
So it was set up actually in 1931, and actually then it was just RIC, which is the Radio Industries Club, because there was no TV. Um, and it was set up to sort of celebrate all of the organizations that facilitated the broadcast industry. So whether that's consumer electronics, which has been a really big part of TRIC over the years, as well as the broadcasters, the producers, all of those different people involved in the industry. And the awards were set up, well, it's the 56th year of the awards, and the awards are every summer. And they're a bit like the National Television Awards, and I'll talk about that more in a bit. But the awards, so I can't remember what year it was, but if you do the maths, it's 56 years ago.
That's maybe not either of our strong points,
No, it's not
doing
either of our
maths.
strong points. So let's not embarrass ourselves by trying to work that out. Um, and the awards were set up to raise money for charity. So as well as to celebrate the talent side of television and radio, it's also to bring people together, both the people that work in the back end of broadcasting, so the consumer electronics companies, all the producers and all the support companies that sit around the broadcasters, to bring them all in the room, get them mixing in with the talent, and raising money all together for charity. So, that's what it does basically. It runs 2 events a year. So we have the big awards in June, and then we have a Christmas lunch, which is about half the size, but exactly the same principle. Everyone comes together and raises money for charity. So yeah, it's great to be a part of it.
Fantastic. And it's not just one charity, is it? It's several charities looking at their website.
Yes. So every year there's a president of TRIC, and that's a celebrity. So this year it's Dan Walker from Channel 5 News. And every year, or every 2 years, there's a new chair goes in, and that chair gets to pick a charity as well. So there are always two charities that they raise money for.
So I have to ask, you run your own marketing agency, B2B marketing agency, Ice Blue Sky.
Hmm.
You are involved in a lot of different things, but how on earth did you get involved in TRIC?
Well, I think the word serendipity definitely applies here. It was a very roundabout journey into it that I hadn't planned at all. Totally wasn't on my radar. And you're right, I work in B2B and I work in tech, so quite a long way away from that sort of broadcast area. But it was actually my colleague Graham, and he was at a christening and up in Suffolk, and he noticed this woman standing on her own at the christening, older lady, and just went over to talk to her because Graham, that's what he's like. He'll talk to anybody. Um, so he struck up a conversation with her. She said, "Oh, what do you do?" And actually, he and I weren't in business together then. I didn't know him then. Um, so this must have been 12, 14 years ago, I guess. And she said, "Oh, what do you do?" And he said, "Oh, I'm in marketing." And she said, "Oh, you need to meet my husband." So her husband was a chap called Tony, who was very, very senior in the consumer electronics industry. He's retired now. I mean, he's in his early 80s now. And he was chairman of Pi, I think, and worked for Samsung. I mean, just and Sony and all sorts.
Mm.
Really well known in the industry. Actually, his nickname is Champagne Tony, but can't share those stories on here.
That's for the
So,
outtakes, is it?
and Graham at the time was more in consumer side marketing and was looking to work with the consumer electronics sector. So him and Tony started doing stuff together, and that was really good. And then when Graham and I started working together about 10 years ago, he introduced me to Tony. Tony is an absolute diamond. He is such really respected in the consumer electronics sector, and I can see why. He's a really nice guy, really professional, really helpful, great guy. And then he talked to Graham. So this must have been 7 or 8 years ago, I reckon. Yeah, probably 8. Anyway, I'm doing what
Gosh.
drives my kids mad. I'm like getting hung up on a minor detail that totally doesn't affect the story at all. Um, and he said, "Oh, we're looking for some women to join TRIC because it was a very non-diverse organization. So it's a very small organization. So there's only one employee who is the director, and then there is a board, which is
Hmm.
made up of 4 or 5 people who, we all give our time for free. And then there's a committee of about 15, 16 people, again, who give their time. And then there's the people that we use to run the events. And there's a really amazing, but very small team. Like when you see the event and the scale of the event, it was unbelievable to me that it was just this very small team of very highly skilled people running it. But the committee and the board were very non-diverse, shall we say.
Right. Okay. So
Um,
hence Tony's
yes.
keenness to jazz it up a little.
Yeah. So I joined the committee, yeah, I reckon it was probably 8 years ago. So I've been involved with it for quite a while now, and I love it. It's so different to my day job. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and I
And,
get to, sorry.
sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say I get to dress up twice a year.
Yeah, that's a very fun part. I've seen some of the things that you've done for them, and it looks amazing. And the chance to celebrate it with everyone else sounds like
Yeah.
it'd be phenomenal as well.
Yeah,
So, so
definitely.
So you talked about Tony bringing you on board. I'm probably at pains to say not just because you're a woman.
No.
I'm sure that was probably, one of the things that, obviously helped. But what is it that you actually do at TRIC? And you mentioned the board and you mentioned the committee, and I just wondered if you could sort of give us a little bit of background to your involvement there.
Yeah, so yeah, you're right. It wasn't just because I was a woman. It was also because I was in marketing and in the technology sector. So that was a bit relevant because they needed what they try to do with the committee is bring people in from a mix of industries. So we've got broadcasters such as the BBC and Sky on the committee. We've got people from the consumer electronics sector, and then we've got people from other sort of support areas from the business, and me from B2B tech. So so Ice Blue Sky, my agency, supports TRIC. So we run the website, the voting platform, and we do all of those things for TRIC. And help them with some of their marketing and approaches and ideas. So yeah, and just sort of giving them support in that area because, as I said, there's only one employee, Alexia, who is
Mm.
amazing, but she's one person and part time.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, because tricks are not for profit. So, it is literally not for profit. So,
Yeah.
the money that we raise obviously goes straight to the charities. And, the events sort of as a result just kind of wash their face and support the business month to month. So, we're not swimming in cash by any means.
And then you pull off fantastic events for hundreds of people.
Yeah, I mean the awards, anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 people at the Grosvenor, and lots of celebrities come. I mean, if you go to tric.org.uk, you can see a lot of the videos and pictures from the events. So it really is quite glamorous, and really unique. I mean, it's such a unique experience when you go because you are literally mingling with everybody, famous and not famous. And there's really good entertainment. So we had Beverly Knight last year, for example. We've had Pixie Lott. We had the Christmas event. We had the lady who'd been playing Elsa from in Frozen on at the West End.
Oh
So
wow.
she came and sang. Oh, it was amazing. Um, I knew all the words.
I should hope so too.
Yeah, so that
Um,
was so that was really good fun.
so you talked about the involvement that Ice Blue Sky's got in supporting, and I know that when you first joined TRIC to offer your help, you joined as part of the committee,
Yes.
and I wondered if you could just share with us your sort of journey to where you are now, because you haven't just stayed a part of the committee, have you?
No, so probably about 18 months ago, I was asked to join the board. So, and then a few months ago, was asked to be vice chair, to go into the chair at the end of this year, which is really, I was really surprised actually. I have to say, I didn't see it coming. But that's the story of my life. The
But
story of
everyone else
everyone's
saw it
life,
coming,
really,
I
isn't
hope.
it?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
didn't see it coming. But I'm really excited because, you know, I think for a couple of reasons. I mean, one is I'm only the second woman who will to have been chair in all of that time, so since 1931. So that's really exciting for me, and to be able to sort of show people, and especially younger women, that that's something that can be achieved and aimed for and achieved. Um, there was a great lady called Jane Osler from Kantar who was the first about 3 or 4 years ago. Um, and yeah, so I'm really excited about that aspect of it. And it's for me personally, it's nice to be that role model for my kids too, to show them. I mean, obviously they're all grown up now, but the big focus for me is the money that we raise for charity. So, I really want to. Tric's been on a journey the last few years. I mean, COVID nearly killed it, which would have been a real shame. And it's testament to Jane's leadership during that time that it didn't disappear.
Mm.
We were still able to run virtual events, obviously on a much smaller scale. We were still able to raise a bit of money for charity, and we were able to just keep the business going. So there's been a lot of work over the last 4 or 5 years around, running it like because it was a club and it was not for profit. It's now a limited company. So, we've just been setting up the foundations.
Yeah.
And it gets so much support from the broadcasting industry, which is lovely. And it's a bit of an institution, so it's really nice that it's kind of coming into the 21st century. It's nearly 100 years old as an organization, and I think it's testament to all of those people that have gone before that it's actually growing and getting bigger and stronger now. And so, for me, my personal mission over the next 2 years is going to be to really ramp up what we raise for charity. And that's what I'm really excited about.
And I think if anyone can do it, Charlotte, you can do it. And I'm not just saying that. I've just seen, knowing you over the years that I've known you, when you put your mind to something, it really gets achieved. And it's exciting to hear about your journey. It's exciting to hear about Tric's journey.
Mm,
And when I look at everything that you do outside of Tric, in terms of running your own business, in terms of being there for your family and friends and everything else. I wonder what sort of keeps you motivated and involved, because this must take up some time as well. And
Yeah.
certainly if you're going to drive to your ambition to raise as much money as possible.
Yeah, I mean it does take up time and and more so now that I'm on the board, because I get involved in more conversations with people and more planning and all of that stuff. But I think, for me, my motivation is um I've always had this need to kind of feel like I'm making a difference and a need to have a value in the world. And I've always had that. Even I remember feeling like that as a teenager, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Um, And it's not that I'm particularly worthy or anything. It's just that I feel the need to contribute to
Mm,
the world. And for me, Trick represents, I mean, it's fun. It's enormous fun. Don't get me wrong. It's not, it's great fun. I've met some really interesting people. I've had lunch with Rob Rinder, Angie Greaves, Angelica, who's now in Celebrity Big Brother. I've met some great people. A very embarrassing story with Tony Hadley, which we are not going to talk about here. Uh, Nothing controversial from his point of view, but he
But
probably doesn't even remember it. But
if anyone would like to email me with offers of hard cash, I may be willing to reveal. And it
uh,
is nothing dodgy, but it's very, very
no,
funny.
it is very funny. So it's great fun, and that helps, obviously. This is great fun to be involved, and it's so different from my day to day, And I'm really not. I don't watch a lot of television and things like that. So I honestly don't know who half these people are most of the time, which everyone else at Trick finds hilarious because I have no clue who a lot of these people are. But they're all lovely and it's great fun to meet them and get to know who they are. But yeah, for me, it's my giving back bit. I'm putting my time in for free, um, to drive something forward, which in itself is going to make a difference through the money that we raise for charity. So at the moment, it's Bright Young Dreams, and which is Dan Walker's charity, and then UWC, which is a charity that was chosen in honour of Bob Sapia, who was a committee member. He worked for Sky and sadly passed away suddenly last year. And his daughter chose that charity. So those are the charities up until December. So, that's what keeps me motivated. That's what keeps me going to support it is, knowing that it has a bigger meaning and a bigger cause than just myself.
It's that lovely ripple effect, and before the podcast, we were talking about ripple effects, weren't we? And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think, you know, I think that's pretty evident, and I think having you involved is a very smart move on Trick's side of things.
well,
So I
thank
think
you.
that's good.
I agree. It's good fun and the team are lovely. There's some really great people involved. I'm not going to start listing them because I know I'll miss someone out and then I'll cause great offense. And yeah, so I'm not going to do that. But they are great, and you can see them all on the website. But yeah, it really is, yeah, and it's just good fun. So I really want to raise awareness. I think it's partly why we're doing this today. Because not that many people know about Trick, and the more people that know, the more people that will vote. So at the moment, the nominees are out there on the website. You can vote for your favourite in all sorts of categories. So best soap actor, news presenter, sporting event. You can go to trick.org.uk, submit your information and place your vote. And then the shortlist nominees will be announced in early May. And as I say, the awards are in June. So, there's always a great buzz around
Yeah.
the nominees, and we're already seeing some people online promoting themselves to get voted for by the public. So yeah,
Oh, that's fantastic. And the more people become aware, as you say, the more opportunity there is to raise money.
yeah,
And you talk about the team, and it's astounding the fact that there's one paid employee, and I understand the reasons,
yeah, and
but the
part time.
fact
She's not even full time.
and part-time as well. So complete credit to her. But you're right, it is an effort by a supremely talented bunch of people to push this forward with that level of passion because
Yeah.
it would be very easy, wouldn't it, just to think, oh gosh, I'm really busy, I'm not going to do anything. So
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And this is why the committee is so invaluable, because you get little pockets of experience. You might have somebody who's really good at finance. You might have someone who's got lots of connections in the broadcast industry, so can gets more support that way, or can sell more tables because the more tables we sell, the more money we raise for charity. You've got people who might be able to donate gifts and experiences because we do a silent auction. And obviously, the more things we have for people to bid on, the more money we raise for charity, because that's where the money goes from the silent
mm,
auction. So, yeah, it is that ripple effect. It's that sort of marginal gains, do a little bit over here, a little bit over there, and then, the overall gain is massive. And
yeah.
it is a challenge because the cost of everything has really gone through the roof, as you know. So to put the event on is a lot more expensive than it used to be. But yeah, it's lovely to see everybody so committed to raising money and just coming together and, having a good time as well, which is nice.
And what do you think the biggest challenge will be? Is it that sort of cost of living means that, people don't have as much cash to splash? Or is it something else that you see happening that is going to be a challenge to get over?
Yeah, that is always a challenge. I think, yeah, cost of living does mean people have less disposable income. I think, so you do have to work harder to try and raise money. And that's why I think, how we do it is so important, by providing this really unique experience, this amazing event or events. It does give people something that they can't get anywhere else. And then, we share the stories around the charities. The celebrities do a great job in supporting that, and just raising awareness. Yeah, but it is a challenge. Yeah, rising costs for us as well as for other people.
Mm.
And the charity sector is competitive, but I think what I love to see is both whoever goes into the chair and the president, they always pick a charity really close to them, and that really shines through. And that makes a difference, having showing that emotional connection. So Roman Kemp was president last year, and we were raising money for Joe's Buddy Line, in honor of his friend Joe that passed away. And he runs that charity with Joe's family, and that had, and we do fundraising at other events, through our media partners, as well. But yeah, so it was really moving to see that personal connection, um, and I think that spurred a lot of people on to donate.
Yeah, yeah, that's phenomenal. And you talked about you mentioned it a little bit earlier about being an example to your children, and particularly in places where there may not be a lot of diversity, and I don't just mean male female,
Mm.
um, but what's your advice to people who are thinking, oh gosh, life's really busy, but I want to do something more, but have I got time? Particularly young women. I know you've got a passion for women in business,
Hmm.
but to anyone who's considering it, what would your advice be?
Gosh, that's a good question. Yeah, because I sort of fell into it, so it wasn't. It was a bit of a happy accident for me. So I'm not sure if I'm qualified to answer the question really, but I think for me, I think it's just do something, even if it's small, and even if it doesn't feel, when I first started with TRIC, I was just doing very tiny things that didn't feel significant at the time. But you know, I think it's easy to get overwhelmed, with trying to plan to do something like this. So my advice in life, not just to do with this sort of work, is to just, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Don't try and shove the whole elephant in at once. It's never going to work.
That's not a pretty image.
That's not a pretty image, is it? But it's like just do small things, little things that make you feel good, that make a little bit of a difference to somebody, and that might just mean mentoring somebody, or it doesn't have to be massive. It's just the more people that decide to make their life mean something over and above all the crap that goes on in our heads. I think that's, the more people that do that, the better.
Yeah, back to that ripple effect.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Oh, fantastic. Charlotte, thank you for sharing all of that. I
Yeah.
think some of that I'd heard before, some of it I haven't heard before.
Hmm.
And just the the level of passion that you have for it is really admirable. And
Thanks.
I think, I'm looking forward to seeing how much you guys raise.
I know, I'm
It'll be
excited.
astonishing.
I've set myself a big target, but and I probably won't get there, but you got to, shoot for the moon. Aim, no, shoot for the stars. You might hit the moon. I don't know, whatever it is, but
Aim high.
aim high. Yeah, there you go. That was much easier. But thank you for talking to me about it because, I am trying to raise more awareness of TRIC while I'm in the chair. So yeah, so thanks for this today. It's been great.
Oh, it's been really great chatting. And if anyone does want to find out more, just say the website again.
Yeah, so it's tric.org.uk. So and we'll put a little QR code on the video, so that people, and we'll put it in the audio as well, so that people can go and visit it. But go and get your votes in before,
Fantastic.
well, I think you got about another week and a half.
Right. I'm going to go straight from here to have a look at the website and vote.
Brilliant. Lovely. Well, thank you. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye bye.